Hey there, friendos. Fredo Supreme, the American Dream here, back with some Alpha Protocol footage, my Alpha Protocol Let's Play. Anyways, and today I brought a guest, my homie Skyler.
What up?
Alright, so, I do have friends, in case any of you were wondering, which I'm fairly certain you are not. And right now is the second half of the tutorial of Alpha Protocol. It's called the Gray Box. Oh, and by the way, right here, you notice that one agent's subtitles. You notice that, right? He was saying that I might want to take it a little bit easier on the other agents next time. I'll put the audio on so we can at least hear some of it. But he was basically chastising me for using force on the guards in the previous segment.
Oh yeah.
Even though, as you saw, I showed you the first part. I only throat chopped that one guard who was right outside the medical bay.
Ouch.
Yeah. Anyways, I hacked that one computer right there to get a little bit of extra XP, which you get for doing practically everything. It's like the fallout of spy games.
Experience.
True that. And also get a little bit of background. By the way, there was an email from Westridge telling everyone about the new arrival, Michael Thornton. And that changes depending on which background you select at the beginning of the game for Michael. By the way, you might want to get some popcorn. I'm about to just stand here watching the news to get a perk.
Alright, be right back.
Okie doke, then.
Wait, am I really getting popcorn?
No. I'm just telling the viewers to get popcorn. Because it's going to take a while.
We'll enjoy and have popcorn then. I'll just sit here and sip water. You guys get to eat, you lucky.
Alrighty then. Oopsie. It's a little bit.
We have the ability to strike far and to strike swiftly. There are no limits to our reach, no limits to the justice we bring in the name of freedom for our people. I am a man of my word, and this I promise you. This attack is but the first that Al-Samad brings against its enemies. As fire rained down upon us, so shall Al-Samad bring fire to your people as well. The West and its allies shall bear the cost of what they brought to our people, to our country, and they will answer for it. You seek to take our land, undermine our faith. All that you have seen this day.
Yeah, this is practically a bonus video of Insectics. Okay, not really, because when he does bonus videos, it's just like a bonus features in the game. Like in that Matt Hoffman playthrough, he does showing off some secret characters and some secret levels.
I'm a secret character on all levels.
Nice.
You just don't know it.
Just don't know.
It's a secret.
And with that, we got a perk, News Conscious. Now, I'm about to pause it here. Again, still doing post-commentary. I briefly forget where the perks are, because I checked the intel list. And see, the perk News Conscious gives me a 5% intel discount from intel vendors in Saudi Arabia, which is where the first actual chapter of the game will take place. Pretty convenient. Watching the news gives you discounts. No thank you, by the way. And with that, we are about to start the...
My telephone is ringing.
You're gonna have to put that on silent.
Sorry. Silence!
I'm here for espionage training. Westridge's new recruit. Good. There's no time to waste.
My
So-
apologies.
Orientation.
It's okay. You're new with this.
You are familiar with the premise of an obstacle course, I assume? Yes. Excellent. And I don't need to explain.
Ooh, his fist.
Up the ladder is the training area.
That's 2010
First
graphics.
test is navigating through the environment without being detected.
With wrinkles.
Following that, you'll be
Yeah.
facing live
2010 graphics were a lot more
against the
primitive
agency.
than, say, modern
Anything
stuff.
else I should know
Good
about running this
graphics.
course?
It's just
Yes. I suggest
I'm
you
just
do it
saying, this
quickly.
looks like a
And talking gives you
looks
position.
like a late
What's
PS2
the deal
game
with the
at
security
work,
panel?
you know?
It secures the
Looks almost like
entrance.
a graphics on par with Mark
If you're as
Echo's getting
capable
up
as
contents
Westridge
under
says,
pressure.
Then you should have no trouble hacking it and gaining access to the course. Clock's ticking.
Great.
Well, I'll show it to you later, and you can be the judge of that. Anyways, something that I...
Course begins now.
Hack the door in front of you to gain
Anyway,
access
something I
the
forgot to
cores.
explain earlier was that there are perks for doing literally everything in this game. Like if you think of something that can be done, there's a perk for it. So doing a
Always
good deal of
check your
enemies,
surroundings for
you get a perk for
cameras.
that.
Can't have
Taking
you
a lot of
appearing on
damage
line
over a
against
single playthrough,
The key
you
to
get a
stealth
perk
is
for that.
timing. Pay attention
Getting
camera
to
movements,
successfully
then expose
romance
the
a
blind
lady,
spots.
it's a spy game, so yep, perks. And there's even a perk for romancing all the ladies. By the way, that's what the game calls it.
Does the game let you romance men just out of curiosity? Because I've never played this game before.
2010.
So probably not.
Nah. By the way, I do pretty good at the at Parker's stealth challenge here, but notice that after I get over the wall, I get spotted and still somehow manage to score high enough to get a good enough score on the examination, by which I mean it unlocks a secret task. Notice that the guard's pip on the right went yellow, and I thought I would knock that one guy down by ziplining into him, but turns out...
I got
Your score is
stuck
based
on
on
a tree.
several factors.
Huh.
Because
Sorting
I was
the
like,
numbers
nope.
now.
Just like Dave Barry did.
Yep.
And notice, I barely managed to get the 100 points
Outstanding.
necessary for Parker's
Well above
bonus
average,
objective.
especially for a trainee. Okay.
I call that sort of
Wanna run it
thing
again?
stupiding myself to victory.
I
got-
log the results.
That
West,
should
you can
sound
complete
fun,
your
stupiding
evaluation once you
myself to
finish the other
victory.
tests.
I got it from a
Anything else you
Rooster
can
Teeth
share that
video
might help me
where
out?
Jeff pointed out
I've
that
already
Gavin
got the basics
Stoop
down.
said something along the
Course
lines
not
of
enough
watch
of a
Gavin
challenge
stupid
for you?
himself to victory
No.
again.
Then I have an assignment for you. This one won't be locked.
What? You mean like a covert training op? Aren't
I
you guys
apologize
carrying
ahead of
orientation
time
too
for not
far?
knowing anything
Nothing about
this
Alpha
game.
Protocol's
That's okay.
orientation, Agent.
It's a cult classic.
Despite
Not that
the
many
Yeah,
people.
it's like I'm
The penalty
learning
for getting
about it
caught
now, so it looks
won't
very
be a poor
interesting.
score.
Yes.
It'll be detention.
And you don't seem like a sort of person that
You up for
is
it?
interested in spy stuff most of the time. I
I've
take
never
it.
really played a spy game
Let me see
before.
what
It's
you
not that I'm
need.
not interested, I just haven't played one. I'm
Haven't
just
You
not
want me
wanting
to
to
head
really
back
play
to the medical center?
gun games
Why?
too much, simply because my preference of first person
What's the
and
file
third
name?
person in
Jacob.
games.
Not only will this be a much
First
more
person makes you
practical
kinda
use of your
sick?
talents,
No, first person. It's
I
just
think
I like
you'd be
to
curious
see
to
my
where in the
character.
world you're
So in
gonna
other
be
words, third person is more fun for you.
Any other
Yeah, it's just
intel I
my
should be aware of?
preference.
Nothing you can't
So in other
find
words,
out
if I
on
asked you
your
to
own.
play, so I asked you if you wanted to play some
We aren't
Perfect
even
Dark,
having this
then you'd probably say
conversation.
no.
Oh, I'd still play it with you. It just
Got it.
would be weird for me.
Well, it's a good thing the more recent Fallout games allow you to switch between first and third person.
I'm just very picky.
Who isn't?
Huh.
Are you waiting for clearance?
And right now we are about to do Parker's bonus objective, which is basically backtracking through the tutorial bit, only this time we don't have the luxury of a tranquilizer pistol. By the way, I want you to focus on the left side of the screen for another one of those awareness pips that indicates a guard, because... And...
I like how the characters are very goodly labeled.
And blue, right there. I don't notice the guard in there. He's coming through the door. I kind of panic a little bit. And now he went yellow, and out come the nines. Hope you got your vest on, partner. It's not homicide time, but I am going to throw down with these fools. I just quoted a song from the True Crime New York City soundtrack, Homicide Chat by Sam Scarfo.
And I just realized goodly is not a word.
Did I say it?
No, I did.
Oh. Anyway, and here I shut down the alarm to get myself a little bit of peace and quiet, and on the rest of the trek there. Right now I'm going through all the offices looking for some bonuses, which there are on the second time through for some reason.
I'm the bonus in this video.
Technically you are, because you're not a regular yet.
What?
And there's a bit of bonus intel and ammunition in the side offices here. If you're wondering why I'm crouch walking everywhere, it's because that's how most stealth games work. Crouch walking is the safest way to get around incredibly quietly in more recent stealth games, like GoldenEye Reloaded, Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Kind of reminds me of Igor, the way he's walking.
Ah.
Yes, master.
Well, it could have been more ridiculous. Could have been doing one of them Skyrim creep walks. Here I just sped it up a little bit because there was a couple extra seconds of me putzing around for no reason. I almost forget about the security camera again. And I head back up the stairs, taking note of the extra guard in the room. Now, you can subdue all the guards you feel likes of doing over here. I'm not entirely sure if this will change Darcy's comment when you go for the gadget orientation about roughing up the guards. By the way, I'm speeding it up because nothing's really happening here. I did not just activate Sonic mode.
You mean you're not the Flash?
No.
That's false advertisement.
And, okay, I kind of laugh at that, but Michael's running is kind of slow from what I remember in the past 12 times I've played this game through. Whereas, like, he can only sprint for, like, a few seconds before having to go to just regular jogging speed like he is right now.
Sounds like me in real life.
And again, I speed up here because there is literally nothing extra to pick up. Yeah, just trying to keep this video as short and sweet as possible. And I'm pretty sure I could have just used silent running to sprint behind that guard, but I'm not interested in taking chances, especially since his pip went yellow as soon as I got close to him. And I'm just double-checking the offices again to make sure there isn't any bonus intel that I forgot. You would think after playing this game through 12 times I would notice more about...
Downloaded from your PDA.
Notice more about it?
You seen?
Listen.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, well, then that'll have to be sufficient.
Now, if you
Now
got
that you have the
spotted,
spy
then
on,
normally
anything you can tell me about
Michael's
the real
dialogue would be something
Go
along
to
the
Middle
lines
East to
of,
recover stolen prototype
yeah, but I
systems.
managed to deal with them quickly, and then you get a -1 reputation with Parker, as opposed to a +1 for not getting spotted, like I just got a few seconds ago.
I've downloaded intel onto your PDA. That should prove useful when you reach your destination.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it, Parker.
We're exchanging favors, Agent. We're even. And that's an important lesson in our line of work.
So when am I shipping out?
After you finish your orientation with Westridge, it's customary for him to outline.
Hey, he's seen some stuff. This ain't his first rodeo, Slick. He's been with the agency for a while.
He'll send you to
So many
fetch.
wrinkles on that man.
Like a good day.
Huh.
I'm not sure.
Well, maybe Obsidian was just trying to get all the spy movie character cliches in there.
No, I understand. I'm just.
I know, I'm not
picking-
saying...
I'm just picking at it.
What do you actually
Alright then,
do?
Mr. Alright then, Miss CinemaSins.
Mr. Miss, I don't care.
Whatever. Alright then, CinemaSins-sama. Switching
So
to
you've
Japanese
been
for
on
no
all
apparent
Alpha
reason.
Protocol ops.
Keynes, yes. I was involved in the events leading up to your assignment, in fact.
How?
I took on the role of a contractor, an accountant. Money is one of the easiest ways to track events. It often leaves the best fingerprints.
So you're a spy.
I'm an observer. I rarely take action. But the smallest event, if
Yeah.
analyzed incorrectly or acted on improperly,
Again, the beginning of
can have
this
great
game is
repercussions.
very cliched, but
That's where I
it...
come in. To
Okay, allow me
interpret
to
events.
talk about this game in
Like
terms
butterfly
of
wings,
the Saints
sparkling
Row games.
tornado,
Like, the
that
first
kind
two
of thing.
games were kind of
Explaining
grounded in
butterfly
reality, especially the
cliché.
first one.
Guerrilla actions,
Second one was a
tests,
little bit
exposing
more
corrupt
over the top, but
politicians,
still kind of
rise in
realistic.
brain
And then from the
processing.
third one onwards, woohoo!
The dying
It was
of
completely bonkers.
I think I have the fourth.
All
one.
of these
No,
You
things
do.
have the
I
potential to
do,
create
yeah.
a larger
Yeah.
I haven't played the other ones. I want to play the other ones. Like
controlling
my
the
OCD makes me
repercussions
want
of
to play
these
everything
events,
in
getting
order.
agents the
Huh.
information
Well, if you
they
want to
need
play the first one, you
fires
better get a
out before the waves
360.
out of control.
I do have a 360.
That
Alright then, halfway there. Because it only
So
came
when
out,
I'm in
because the first
field,
Saints
my
Row only
orders
came
come
out on
from
the
you
Xbox
or
360.
Another analyst. My job
It
is
was going to come out on the
Listen.
PS3 and the PC, so
Oh, I forgot
so
I
I
had a
heard.
PS3
It's a numbers game.
for
Yeah.
reminding me.
So
Decisions
it was
must
going to
be
come out
made
on PS3 and
If the
PC,
decisions
if I
are
remember
solely
correctly,
reactive
but
and passive,
Volition wanted
then you
to
operate
put
at a
more
disadvantage.
manpower
So
into
sometimes
making
you
a
create
sequel.
events.
For
Still,
political
I
equilibrium
wonder,
at
I like the random
times.
glitches that happen.
At
there.
other
They're meant
times, to
be
give
funny.
America
Yeah,
an
because it's
economic
a
advantage.
simulation. It's basically
I
the
thought we
Matrix,
were mostly
only way
mission
more
driven.
nuts.
We are.
If you're just joining us, and I don't know why, Skyler and I are discussing Saints Row and how it somehow manages to correlate to Alpha Protocol.
Carry the logic one step
Ironically enough, those games actually share a couple of voice actors with this game.
You like working here?
My responsibility is to
This game has quite the
Should
ensemble
they?
cast.
You know, I
I
actually
mean,
thought
there's a
you were
reason I
Canada
refer to it as the
There'd either be an
Expendables
insult
of video
or an
games.
excellent
Which is
deduction.
funny because the Expendables 2 actually
Guess
got a
how
video
far.
game, and from what I
I
can
was
tell,
actually just
it
trying to make
wasn't.
conversation.
It was
Why
not
would that
very
be an
polished, if
excellent
that
deduction?
Super Best Friends Play video
Because,
was anything to go
Agent,
by.
Alpha Protocol can only maintain plausible deniability as long as no one knows.
By
what
the way,
exists.
by the way, everyone watching this, I apologize for talking over the cutscene and not exactly focusing on it, but
All right.
I've seen
I was
this,
just asking, no harm meant.
like I said,
Take
12
back
times
the
at least.
comment.
Well, 13 because my first playthrough was, I had to abort it because I had improperly spec'd. Long story short, I couldn't deal with the bosses. This game is like Deus Ex Human Revolution in terms of boss battles. Namely, it's not very... it doesn't work, for the most part.
This place cannot be found.
Yeah.
If Alpha Protocol is compromised, any evidence of the program must be deleted.
But
You've got me in the
what
video
happens to
game
the...
mood.
I mean, is there an escape route?
Mission accomplished.
What happens?
Mission sucks.
What do you mean, Agent? Be specific. I dislike dancing around an issue of one exists.
What would cause that to happen?
Embarrassment and exposure. Something that would prevent Alpha Protocol from denying the presence of its agents or its government agenda.
You sound like you've done this before.
If I have, it's classified. Or perhaps I'm joking. Are we done here, Agent? I think I've answered all your questions.
Some of them, yeah. The others can wait.
And with that, we are now done with the espionage training. Now, right here, I briefly debate whether or not to go to weapons orientation or gadget orientation first, because there's a bit of dialogue in the weapons orientation that changes based on whether or not you've done gadgets, and vice versa. But I'll talk about that when we get to it.
Mikey, be with you in a moment. I'm just setting some things up here. I'm Sean Darcy. I'm going to be running you through tech orientation.
Name's Michael, actually, or Agent Thornton.
I don't like either one of those. And you really could stand to relax a little if you want to get ahead here, Mikey.
By the way, I'd
I'm
just
not
like to
interested in
preface
getting
this by
ahead.
saying that
I'm
I'm
interested in
trying
finishing
to
this
antagonize
and
Darcy
getting
as much as
assignment.
possible because
For
it gives me
now,
a
this
perk
is
when
your
he's my handler in one of my missions.
Mike,
Now,
Agent
normally if
Thornton.
you're on
So
good
why don't you
terms with
calm down
Darcy,
and just
then
listen, all right?
you get a perk that basically
Glad you finally
improves
showed up,
the
but you might
usefulness
have
of your
lost on
gadgets,
the
you
way
know,
here.
grenades,
Or
flashbangs, stuff like
too
that.
busy beating up some more guards.
Meanwhile, if you
For someone who's checking the clock, we're
Meanwhile,
sure
if you
wasting a lot of
have
time
a
talking.
low relationship with Darcy,
Yeah,
then
sure.
you get more
Oh, by
endurance.
the
It's
way,
like the part of your health
not
that
a
always
good
regenerates.
idea.
Oh, here's that dialogue I was
Guards,
mentioning.
The ones here have a lot of time on their hands, and that means a lot of time to hold grudges.
I'll keep that in mind.
I could have
but
sworn that I
wasn't expecting
actually
to be drugged
managed
intact.
to do a
Good
playthrough
agents
where
ready
I
for
didn't
anything,
even
Mikey.
touch any of
Enough
the
chit-chat.
guards
You
in
got a
the
lot of
beginning
work
there.
ahead of us.
Why would you
Well,
touch the guy?
you did.
Subduing them, you
I'm
know.
mostly here to
Okay,
observe.
phrasing. I am pulling an Archer-style phrasing joke.
Too.
What's that out there? A used car
You
lot?
mean like knock them
A
out?
target range for
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, do this
More
ninja
like a
style.
shooting gallery.
Everybody
Head out the door
was
there and we'll
coming
get started.
for the fight.
All right then.
And
Open the locker and equip yourself. If you use them all, just come back and grab some more. All right, everyone's favorite, grenades. Let's see that arm of yours.
by the way, I'm blindly tossing these because I remember that there is a perk that improves damage of thrown gadgets if you throw 75 of them. However, that little trajectory thing, you need to wait until that pops up in order for the throw to count. You know?
Lob it behind the target. Use the wall for a hook
What
shot.
life would be like if it actually worked like a video game.
It would mean that all you'd have to do to get back. It means if you got hurt, all you have to do is wait like 15 seconons. Bam, perfectly
Now for some
healthy.
fireworks. Try and check one
Okay,
beneath the
how
truck and
close
take
is
out the gas tank.
Or die. Respawn.
Whatever.
Never get tired of that one. Now, see that electronic lock there? Use your EMP grenade
My voice
to shut it
cracked
down.
right there.
It save you time in the field.
Okay, I'd like to point out, throwing the EMP charges like a grenade, I have never done that outside the tutorial here, mainly because you notice that at the end of the first part, I put a point in my sabotage tree, which allows me to do interference,
Nice. And just
which
in
basically
time.
is run up to a panel and hit circle and use the EMP quickly. Also, how I put the shock trap on that door, that's also another thing you can do. You can just place gadgets in places, and as soon as an enemy walks near them, it's like proximity mine, only not always fatal.
That's what they're for.
Okay, right here is something that I'm actively surprised worked. I placed those 3 shock traps because... Oh, managed to do 2 guards, managed to get 2 guards in like seconds of each other, and number 3. I am actively surprised that worked as well as it did. Didn't even need to use my sound generator. Also, I used 3 traps because at first your shock traps, much like the incendiary bombs, only affect one person at a time.
You know, that
when you
performance
upgrade
wasn't
them
that
to
bad.
level
Almost as
2,
good
then they
as
can
my
do
record.
then they can shock 2
How about
people
we
at
up
a
the
time,
stakes?
and then level
Take this
3
to
allows
big
them to
leagues.
get as many people
have
who are
mine?
caught when it goes off,
All right, me and the guards.
thus
we
making
were
them a
in
bit
it
more
when it
effective
worked
than
out.
grenades, in my
We're on
opinion.
petty cash. We'd like to
Well,
make
the
it
explosive grenades, I mean.
All right.
Those are actually classified
Listening.
It's a rematch on our
as
terms.
different than the
It's
incendiary
simple.
bombs.
Disable all the alarms.
Also
and
noticed I got
escape
over
the
100
area
on
and
Darcy's
provide it.
exam,
And you
so
take
I
the
managed
winnings.
to
If you
unlock a
lose,
bonus
you'll
goal
owe
from
us.
him,
Got
which
it?
is basically another, which also kind of introduces radio
Just head into
mimics.
the range and we'll get to it,
Out of
Mikey.
curiosity,
All right,
if you
then.
were to get the
I'll tell your
one
team to
perk
get
with
ready.
him, are you able to kind of reduce it?
So
Say
here
if
we
you
are.
are
Rematch.
got the
for
negative
you and the
like
guards,
perks,
but on
were
their
not the
terms.
negative perks, but the
So
negative
listen up.
like
There's alarms hidden all
interaction.
over the course.
Are you able to
All you need to
undo
do
that
is
by
shut
then
them down.
positively
But the guards are
reacting
gonna try and reset them. Every
interacting
time
with
an
them,
alarm goes
and then
off,
get a different
another
perk?
squad's coming in.
Or
Yes,
would that perk
yes,
no
the-
longer be
All want a
available?
shot
Yes,
at
the
you,
perks are
trust me.
mutually exclusive.
Alarm
You
goes
can't
off
get
enough
the
times, and you're gonna get
the
trampled.
negative reputation
But
perk and the
you have
positive
the
reputation
technology to
perk.
beat 'em. So
Can or
let's see,
can't?
even
Cannot.
the odds.
Oh, okay.
That's something I've noticed in the 2 playthroughs where I was attempting to get the Judge, Jury, and Executioner achievement, where I had a slightly less endurance because I had a lower relationship with Mina, because as a general sociopathic behavior is not something she likes in the when you're something to keep in mind when you're doing those.
But can you still fix the relationship?
You
with the
can.
person?
Well, you can by actions and interactions.
Okay.
And shock fail. Also, Darcy mentioned something about how if Darcy implied that it was possible to lose this challenge. I've never actually got my health taken out severely. Well, I don't remember or any times where I tried to go through these and ended up getting my health taken out a lot. But he's blowing smoke. Your health can never go below 1. It's like the invincibility cheat in Quake that allows you to... it's pseudo-invincibility, but your health never goes below 1. You know what I'm talking
They
about?
might have you for a second.
It's an invincibility cheat in Quake, I've heard.
Head on up and I'll
Okay.
call someone in to
Long story
complete
short,
the course.
Darcy implied that you can lose that challenge. You
Thorough.
cannot.
Get a real message.
I'm guessing that's one of the things that Obsidian was forced to
That's
skimp
all I need.
over during
See you in the
the
field,
compressed development period.
If
This
you
game is
say
kind
so,
of,
Mikey.
a troubled production, if you will.
Oh,
You know how you ever seen Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
Well, in that movie, the production of the movie the in-universe movie was kind of
Anybody
troubled to
shooting
hell
here?
and back. That's basically the development of Alpha Protocol,
Thornton.
only comparatively
Hello.
more realistic. You know,
Hey, you're the one I spoke to when I woke up in the medical bay.
I'm making sense, right?
Glad that wasn't a hallucination.
Alrighty.
It may have been. Do you remember my
I
name?
make dollars.
Or do I need to write it down for you?
Mina, right?
That's right.
By the way, if
Good to
I
see
had
you
responded
from
with
the
the other
memory
2 choices,
intact.
Tina or Maria,
Memory
then would have
intact.
given a -1
Speaking of
reputation.
which, I don't
Meanwhile, if I
remember
had a
keys.
veteran
Or
background,
passport.
then I could have
Confiscating personal
picked
items
a
is quite
bonus
routine.
conversation
Wouldn't worry
choice
about
where
that.
Mike demonstrates
So
that
let's get
he
down to
knows
the
her
task
full
at hand.
name from Jump,
I'm here to run you
but
through the
that doesn't give you a
weapons training
reputation
to test your
boost.
accuracy.
All right. What's the next?
She
step?
likes professionals, but she
Just take
doesn't
you to go
like
to
a
the firing
sycophant,
range,
you know?
and I'll keep in contact with you over
Hard
the
to wear
earpiece. Head over to the table, get your weapon.
Maybe she was listening to a lot of AC/DC.
black.
Puns!
Standard field
Quips!
packaging
Jokes!
pistol, SMG, shotgun,
I don't think that was
and
a pun.
assault rifle.
But
Each has its strengths and
Whatever.
weaknesses. Let's start with the pistol.
got that from Game Care Network. It's like CinemaSins with video games.
Then aim down range. and
Alright,
take
now,
shots at
the
target.
pistol, this is my favorite type of weapon in the game, mainly because it's so versatile.
Good aim.
I mean, you can,
Now,
well, for stealth playthroughs, it's the only weapon that can
and
be
fire.
exclusively
Precision shots
silenced,
can take down
remember.
a target quickly.
And when I manage to upgrade it to a certain level, I can manage to do
Now,
critical hits,
let's
like
move
when my
on to the
crosshair
submachine
goes
gun.
red and all shrunken like that. I can do critical hits from cover, don't even need to
Now
aim,
let's
I
empty
can
the clip.
practically snipe dudes
Let
with
you get a
pinpoint
feel for the
accuracy.
recoil.
Now, submachine guns, I kind of like those, but if you're if you try to be as precise as I do, which is like
Now
so
take
precise
cover.
it's almost painful,
Still using cover.
and
Take
even
some
then I'm
shots at the
failing at it.
target.
It's
Accuracy's terrible while firing.
they're
live,
okay, just
but it
not
can get
exact,
the job done.
just not exactly useful at lower levels. Whereas
Now try
even
popping
the
out and focusing your
even the
aim.
shotgun is
You can
kind of
use cover
useful
to
at
your
lower
advantage
levels of the skill tree. Notice that the little number and the bar underneath my crosshairs,
I've unlocked the
that's a
door to the
damage
technical range on
multiplier.
your
The more
right.
hits I get in a row with the
Let's see
submachine
how you do
guns, the
against
more
some
damage it does,
targets.
thus making it a viable option to just pew-pew with the submachine gun when you're trying to snipe with it.
This kind of reminds me
You'll want to
of
be patient
the staging
and attack
table.
when targets get close.
Ah. Which one?
The
Good.
first one.
Not a training sequence, of course.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of games have that. It just randomly went through my head.
Well, no shame in that.
Fable.
Heh.
Still trying to figure out how
Now
to
for the shotgun.
beat the third game.
Holding the
Yeah.
trigger steady and firing. Knock down even heavily
Anyways,
armored
now
targets.
the shotgun is my favorite, less lethal weapon in the game because notice that my reticule is glowing red. When it's red, no matter how far away I am from somebody, it'll still knock them down when I have it charged up for a critical hit, thus allowing me to run up and do a stomp that basically subdues them instantly. Try not to think about how that sort of thing would work in real life. Like I said, this game is the Expendables of video games. It runs on a lot of action movie tropes, usually the ridiculous kind.
What time is it?
248.
Alright, make me a sandwich, woman.
And now for my least favorite type of weapon, the assault rifle. Now, when I first played through the game, I had recently been playing a ton of Grand Theft Auto Online, and assault rifles were my go-to in that game. However, you're noticing something about how the assault rifle's firing, right? I'm not firing it in bursts. Every time you hit the trigger, it immediately fires a 3-round burst.
Oh, okay, I see where he's at.
It's kind of like the FAL and the GML rifles in Uncharted 2 and 3, respectively.
It has a really good, like, target system, like how it's helping you aim in the game.
Yes.
You know, like the red circle, yeah.
No, it's zooming in like that because it's charging up a critical hit.
Yeah, and I like how it's
I'm
helping
logging
you
the
do
results now.
It does that on its own.
Oh.
Is somebody out on the course?
Darcy. He's trying to beat your time.
Good luck. He can try.
Oh, he will.
Anyways,
Repeatedly.
a way that I would suggest fixing the assault rifles is that make some of them not all burst firing,
In case you saw
and make
it
some of
was
them
Joe
straight up
Ford.
fully automatic, like the
Affections.
AK-90. It's an
It's like a
AK-47.
cage
They have
match
to
with you
use a different
boys.
name because trademarks.
Am I? A
And,
challenge, I mean.
If you
And
have
make
to pass
other
it,
rifles
then there's your
just
answer.
burst firing, but do it like
All right.
Watchdog style
Let's
burst
see.
firing. You know, like it's full automatic, but with a limit on how many bullets get shot every time you pull the trigger. You get me?
That's one of the most
Like,
impressive skills
which
I've
means
seen.
that even if it is a burst firing rifle, you can
You
just
did
do
so well. I
simple
wonder
pew
if
pew
maybe I
single
could do one
shots. You
more
know?
challenging. A bonus round.
Wait, no,
This
that's
is a joke. Did you scale it down for that jackass? I could walk the rest of the way.
Jackass? Now I'm hurting.
So will Darcy. Did I
I'm
mention
pretty
he
sure
can
he
use
still
live
says that
rounds?
even if you have a
They
positive
still
reputation with him,
sting.
and if you do
I'm
the
listening.
Go
the
in
firing
there.
range
And if you can
first
hit Darcy
instead of
Perkins,
gadget
you'll be
orientation
worth
like
a
I did.
recommendation in my report. And worth some rep with Westridge. And it'd be earned.
I actually
Sure,
have
sounds good.
one
Any
game, so
preference
that
on
makes
weapon?
that
These
comment.
targets are pretty easy for someone to hit.
Yes.
Thornton could have aced this thing blind.
Give me the gun.
We should try to turn that into a meme.
What?
Give me the gun.
Let's start
Every
with the
time
pistol again.
someone says something offensive,
worry.
just that clip
We're
of
using
Michael saying,
tranquilizer
"Give me the gun."
So you won't be doing any
Could be,
lasting
work.
harm to your
Yeah,
targets.
and maybe slap that triggered banner over it.
Turnabout
You know?
is fair play.
No.
They drugged you, so
Well, I'll show you what I mean by triggered banner afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, you don't need to charge up a critical hit on Darcy, but I just do it because there's a perk for getting 100 and pistol critical hits.
all right, you're all done.
Yep.
Head on back.
To be fair, he kind of deserved it for treating me like trying to think of a good word. The new
Alright.
me, you know?
Let's see here.
Yep.
Well done. Critical hit. I don't think I have to worry about Darcy coming by again.
By the way, if you noticed in
Anything
the
else I can
beginning
do?
of the
No, Agent
mission when I
Thornton.
hacked that
Mission accomplished.
computer with the email
Have you
on
not
it,
seen Westridge
Mina
yet?
was replying
You may
to
wanna pay
one
him
of
a visit
Darcy's
after all
emails
the
where he was
training's
kind of
done.
creeping out
You've
on
certainly
her, you
aced
know?
this exercise.
So, kind of justifiable, my dislike of Darcy. That and he seems like something of a frat bro. Not exactly the sort of type that warms up instantly. And if you notice, I got tons of perks from all that. Weaponry discount from completing Mina's bonus challenge. 5% gadget discount from Darcy's challenge, and a 5% intel discount again from Parker's challenge. Also, I get a bonus $20,000 in game for doing Darcy's challenge. He mentioned that, and here comes an exposition dump and a tutorial on conversations and whatnot.
You guys must have spent a fortune on the TVs in this place.
You all done?
You tell me.
Now you're learning. I have to
By the way,
admit, I was worried whether we'd be able to keep
I
you
hate
here
to
after
keep
what
rambling
happened.
over cutscenes,
Gave our
but
staff a run for its
this
money.
dialogue with
Maybe it's
Westridge
their
here, where he
training that's in
explains
question,
how
not mine.
how conversations
Fair
work
enough.
and all
There'll
the
be a good
nuances
excuse
about
about the
them,
morning
kind of
tours
reminds me
around
of the scene in Scarface, The World
Looks
Is
like you
Yours,
did well
when
on the tech
you
portion
go
of the
back
test.
to Tony's
Very
mansion to pay
well.
off the Vice Squad
Past
cops.
Darcy's bitching,
They
there's some
basically
real
explain
compliments
how
in here
the
if you look at
concept of
numbers.
heat works in the
Mina's
game.
report on
You
your
do
weapon
enough
skill
stuff,
was
your heat level
impressive.
goes up.
In
Get it
fact,
too
I
high,
think
then
you
they'll
outperformed
have to
many
send the
of the
boys to make a
guards.
house call.
And
You
it's
know.
your first day.
It's explained
What
in,
can I say?
but it's
Top
done,
of my
but it's
class at the
written
academy.
so well it
If you
almost
got
sounds
my
like movie
charms.
dialogue.
You
know?
did read them, didn't you?
Oh, I did. It was hard getting through the pages detailing your overconfidence.
Well, as long as you read the charts, that's all that matters. I'm a little surprised Mina was paying attention to my firing skills at all, actually.
Careful. If you get any more full of yourself, not even this facility will be able to hold your ego. And here's a surprise, a positive evaluation from Parker. On the numbers side as usual. But he actually took the time to write a sentence.
He did. What was the sentence?
You may have been right about this one, Westridge. For Parker, that's high praise. Assuming you don't let us down, Mike. Looks like that's it for the physical evaluation. Now for the hard part. Tell me why you're here. Not everyone gets chosen for this line of work, but you volunteered. Usually we have to ask.
I want to serve my country.
And you think by being assigned here is the best way to do that?
Give me a mission and I'll prove it.
What makes you think you're ready? Because I tell you, we get a lot of recruits in here, and you're not convincing me.
I'm ready, and I'm tired of my questions getting answered by more questions.
Welcome to our world, Mike. My job is to help you cut through questions and get an answer. Beyond the guns, tech, and sneaking around in the dark, there's one last part of this job that nobody else here quite gets.
I'm listening.
Good, because listening is a large part of it. The way you talk to people, your attitude. That's what we're going to discuss now.
If you're telling me I have an attitude problem, then you could have read that in my file.
No, believe it or not, you're not here because you're a people person. You're here because your psych profile says you're skilled at manipulating others.
Was that a compliment?
You'll see. The way you project yourself definitely affects what people think of you, and your reputation with them.
And if I want to impress them?
You don't always want to or need to. Having a good or bad rep with someone can actually gain you different benefits. Sometimes you want to piss
Got
someone
that
off
right, Uncle
so they can't
Ruckus.
think straight. Other times you want to build a strong rapport with someone and talk your way out of a bad situation. All depends on your objective. This goes for your handlers as well. We're going to be sending you into a lot of dangerous places, and your only backup is going to be who you're talking to on your headset. How you treat them is going to have an effect on the success of your mission.
So if I piss them off, I'm screwed?
No. A handler that likes you too much and puts emotions before the mission can be just as dangerous as one who resents you.
This is a long way of telling me that I should just act the way I want? And if I compromise an asset in the field by choosing the wrong path?
No, again, there are no bad choices, just results.
Again,
Over
true.
time, folks may hear about you and your attitude before they meet you. They may have a preconceived notion of how you're going to treat them, which can affect their reaction.
Well, maybe they should take the time to know the real me.
If only. Time's something no one seems to be able to spare, especially during a conversation. Although that can be a plus.
What, like stalling for time?
The clock doesn't stop when you're speaking to someone. So if you need to get your second win before a fight, making small talk can buy you time.
But if I'm running on adrenaline, won't chatting take me off my guard?
It can. So if you need to get to the point, act instead of fight. For example, if you don't think I have any more to teach you, then you could just say, I'm done with this. I wouldn't think any less of you. You seem to have the basics down.
He's not lying
Why
about
wouldn't I
that,
just
not
shoot
thinking
someone
any
instead
less
of
of you or
talking to
anything.
them?
You can just end the conversation here,
Sometimes
no
it is better
reputation
if you
loss.
shoot first.
But
Still,
I'm just going
approaching
through here
someone to talk to them
because
can allow you to get the drama
some
that make
people
you get
might
close
be
enough to
watching
strike.
this for the
Use it if you have to.
because they
The
want to see someone
conversation
else
isn't
playing the
going
game,
your
you know?
way. Assuming there's even
I
a way
have got to
you
learn
want
how
the
to pipe down
conversation
over
to go.
these.
Like if I wanted to seduce someone? I mean, not like I have trouble with that or anything.
If that's what you want to do, pay attention to the clues in your environment. Sometimes people will have advice, and intel can help. But there's another way. Read much?
Mostly stop signs, which I ignore.
Florida.
There's a host of information out there through
Because
dossiers,
Florida has
email,
bad
and other
drivers.
documents that represent total research others have collected
Everywhere has
on
bad
a target, organization,
But Florida's
or
got a lot of them,
operation.
if Dave Barry's
And
taken
what does
seriously.
that get me, exactly?
Sometimes you'll spot obvious triggers. People who don't respond well to smartasses, like me. Others who respect loyalty, duty, a professional approach. Others who don't have time for bullshit, and like it when you get to the point. But dossiers just don't contain psych information. They'll usually have combat information on your target as well. What side they favor, any past injuries, common weapons or tactics they use. Some of it blunt, some of it subtle. But if push comes to shove, it can give you an edge in combat. The more you've done your homework, the more vulnerable they'll be.
Makes sense to me. I'd rather get a firefight over with as quickly as possible.
Amen to that. Our records are complete, so use them when you have downtime.
You have dossiers on everyone here?
Yep, if you can dig them up. You might learn a few things. Sometimes reading a dossier will give you more options when dealing with others. A few facts to bring up, to shake secrets loose.
What about you?
You should already know what makes me happy, Mike, and what pisses me off.
How do I know when I have the go-ahead to start accessing files?
After meeting a target or hearing their name referenced by someone else, you should have a target ID. Then hop onto the database and start doing your homework. You can usually unlock their basic information at that point. Let's start with a simple one. Al-Samad. That should be familiar to you.
The terrorist group.
Yes, you can research groups as well as people. It doesn't carry the same benefits, but it can provide useful intel in the field. Talking to people about others is a good way to help gain dossier information. Sometimes people will have information on someone that can unlock a brand new thread in your computer search.
Okay, so I've suffered through your interrogation and know how to give one if need be. Am I ready or not?
We'll see. Meet me in the command center, and I can give you a proper mission briefing.
Good, because I'm sick of this room.
Trust me, Mike. If it was up to me, you'd never see this interrogation cell again. Recognize him?
That's Sheikh Ali Shahid, the voice of Al-Samad. They say he was responsible for shooting down that airliner in the Middle East.
Yeah, he got his hands on some prototype Halbeck technology. A missile with a multi-stage targeting system called Jacob's Ladder. That airliner was his first target.
Halbeck? I've run across them while I was touring the world. They don't exactly keep their hands clean. How did Shahid get his hands on that missile?
Missiles. He's got more. He stole them from Halbeck, and we need them back before he gets any more trigger-happy. Then we want you to kill him.
About time. I'm getting tired of this place.
All right, then. Pack your gear. You're heading to Saudi Arabia.
Not coming with me?
I'll be there in spirit. And on video and radio when needed, Agent.
And I just got here. Oh, well. I'm gonna miss this place.
I doubt it. I'll contact you
His
when you
voice
reach
sounds
Saudi
familiar.
Arabia.
Yeah,
His voice-
Westridge?
Yeah.
Like I said, he's the same voice actor as Uncle Ruckus in the Boondocks cartoon, which is strange because he uses a different voice as Ruckus.
Well, I haven't seen that, but
I have the
is
DVDs.
his voice in Skyrim at all?
Gary Anthony Williams?
Yeah, I feel like it sounds similar to the orc in the library.
We can check the IMDb afterwards.
I mean, I could be wrong, but it sounds.
We can check IMDb afterwards. By the way, I'm going through the combat stats right now. Notice that I got a 60% accuracy with the assault rifle. Also, notice the orphans created and total medical bills thingy. That basically, it's a more creative way of mentioning how many people you've killed during a level and how many people you've just roughed up. It's an interesting little take on the whole thing. It doesn't really make the game any better, but it is something interesting about it. Would you concur?
Yes, I'm roughing myself up and killing me so I can be on that stat list.
Ah, okay. Close enough. And that, my friends, is where we shall conclude for today. I'm Fredo Supreme, the American Dream. That's my homie Skyler. Holla at y'all later.
Slapping hurts.